So I once knew this guy. His name is Darius. He's in his mid-20s and is an actor amongst many other things. A jack-of-all-trades kind of guy and definitely not a king at a single one. Apart from myself, he's probably the laziest person I ever met. He has two siblings, one older, one younger, which he absolutely adores despite how much he may never admit it. And not too long ago, after returning home from a short hiatus away, felt sort of lost within himself. Like many people my age, Darius had a lot of pent-up anxiety about his next steps in life. Should he go back to school again, get some 9-to-5 job, or stay at home and perfect his craft? And unfortunately enough, so many other people like Darius feel the same way. According to the American Psychological Association, college students are becoming progressively more and more anxious about starting their lives in the real world. From the moment we graduate college with debt lining the pockets of our very, very skinny jeans, we're thrusted into a world which for some reason now seems utterly foreign to us. It's as if our diploma is some one-way ticket to a far-off planet that we're now obligated to cultivate for the future generations to come. Yet, after spending nearly 21,000 hours inside of a classroom, we're never once taught how to actually thrive and sustain ourselves within this new world. Now, some people live under the impression that we should just toughen up and deal with it, that we should just shut up and sludge along and stop being a bunch of cold brew drinking, avocado eating babies. Well, to those people, I say that you're wrong to think that way. First of all, yes, I do love myself a good cold brew, but avocados can kick it to the curb. And secondly, my solution to this raging epidemics of millennials feeling lost within themselves is one of a more artistic nature. Personally, I live under the impression that the arts can be one of the most comforting and engaging tools to help millennials cope as we step into the real world. So just like my friend Darius, I too have an affinity for drama. Not the spilling of tea kind, although that can be just as entertaining, but for theater. And in high school, I had the opportunity to engage in theater even more, playing everything from Friar Lawrence and Romeo and Juliet to a more exaggerated version of myself as C.B. Stubbs in Hairspray. Apart from that, I'm also a screenwriter and playwright. Whether it's a brooding king or a politician trying to make their way to the top, I have the ability to create characters out of thin air with a snap of my fingers. Stepping into a character's psyche or into a single narrative altogether provides me with the opportunity to feel most in tune with myself. It provides me the opportunity to engage in new characters and new opportunities in life. However, as I got older and started to step into the real world, I began to realize that we don't really have those kinds of opportunities anymore. It becomes almost taboo to express a genuine sense of internal exploration. Even if you're an actor by profession, its imaginary splendor becomes diluted. It becomes more so about fighting for that equity card or going to the gym for the fourth time this week to remain what they call employable. And for a while, I thought that was true. When I came to school, I didn't even make the effort to get into theater anymore. Apart from what I had to do in classes, I even stopped writing for a while, and like clockwork, I fell into a state of stagnation, a state of not really knowing what to do with myself. At the time, I was at a university I didn't care for. My friends were scattered about the country. Money was a consistent issue, and I continuously blamed myself for being too lazy to pick up a pen and write. I remember one time I was quoting Charles Dickens' The Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, etc. And Darius, being the pessimistic, struggling artist that he was, replied back with no. Dickens had us wrong. It's the worst of times, and that's simply that. And for a while, I felt that he was right. And it wasn't just us either. I have friends across the board that have experienced similar struggles. I have friends that have moved to new cities and drowned within their loneliness. I have friends that have questioned their majors because of the culture of comparing ourselves, which social media has fostered amongst us. I have friends that have left school completely because of the financial shackles that keep tightening every year. And I even have friends who, after 4 years of a solid education and a good head on their shoulders, still don't know what they want to do because we live in a world where we're just expected to know. Just like everyone else in the world, millennials also suffer from the five struggles of cultural change: reactions, routines, roles, relationships, and reflections. But unlike everyone else, we're doing it with an overall average of being $40,000 in debt and viewing social media, which consistently tells us that we should be like everyone else. According to the National Alliance on Mental Health, about 75% of mental health conditions begin by the age of 24. And according to an article in the Washington Post, college students have the highest rate of depression and anxiety amongst any other generation, with job concerns high on our list of worries. However, the reason why each and every one of my friends keep fighting the good fight is because each and every one of them had learned the benefits of applying something artistic within their lives, something beautiful and magical which elevates them into a world like no other. For my one friend, it's knitting. He's pretty internalized to begin with most of the time, but if you put a pair of needles and a ball of yarn in his hand, you can't get a word past him edgewise. I remember one time he knit a giant tricolor 80-looking turtleneck sweater just for the sheer enjoyment of seeing whether or not he can do it. I have another friend who divulges in their humor. I never met anyone who actually thinks they're that funny and actually be that funny. It's pretty infuriating most of the time because I can't be funny to save my life, at least not on purpose. And for another friend, it's simply listening to music. You don't have to be an artist to have the arts help you get through the confusion in your life. Whether it's hip-hop, pop, alternative, and dare I say even country, those lyrics and melodies elevate her into a world like no other. The second a Drake song comes on, it's on and popping no matter what mood she's in. And as for myself, all I had to do was pick up a pen, and it was on and popping for me. No Drake or country music necessary. And the reason why all that is able to happen because as humans, we are artistic beings, and as millennials, we bring a newfound sense of innovation to the table. According to art studies in art therapy, art is therapeutic for us because it acts as a form of distraction. It provides a meditative flow to our life. It acts as a safe way for us to draw out our emotions, process our stress, and explore the beauty within the world around us. We're able to surmount our triumphs and struggles in life because art provides us with a sense of community. It lets us know that we're not alone. My problems are similar to your problems, and yours similar to mine. Apart from that, the arts provide a sense of comfort to our bellies. Like the titillating words of a good book or the cold brew that I mentioned earlier, it simply brings us at ease. The butterflies we get from the anxiety in life finally come to rest, and we're introduced to the idea that everything in life might just be okay. The arts provide us with the authorization to explore new worlds, to ponder new opportunities and outcomes, and to vocalize ideas worth sharing. So, back to my friend Darius. Like I mentioned before, Darius was an artist of sorts, but in actuality, Darius was a piece of art himself. He was one of those characters that I created out of thin air. He was the protagonist in a feature-length film that I drafted about 2 years ago entitled Indigo. As an artist and as a writer, I had someone recently refer to me as a sort of literary Frankenstein. And apart from the fall into complete and utter mania, I think I would have to agree. Just like with Dr. Frankenstein and his monster, Darius unavoidably became a reflection of myself. Without me realizing it or not, I created a part of me, a part of my life, and I was able to showcase that to the world. And if that isn't enough of an example to show how the arts can provide us with the opportunities to explore ourselves, then I don't know what does. Choreographer Twyla Tharp defines art as the only way to run away without leaving home. And artist Pablo Picasso says that art is a lie that makes us realize truth, at least the truth that is given to us to understand. For my generation, It is the arts that ultimately connect the world around us. And it is because of that why we must learn how to embrace the arts and use it to its fullest extent. The arts are a tool uniquely designed for us by us because of our ingenuity and ability to look at the world far different than any other generation before us. We already see it through the numerous TV shows that we watch, which introduce a young, diverse groups of actors fumbling around through the world. And we also witness it by way of the different social movements which we've been able to initiate and promote through social media. The arts simply connect the world around us. And it is because of that sense of community and familiarity and comfort why we must learn how to embrace the arts in order to look at ourselves and discover the beauty within our own lives. Thank you.